I just wanted to post a clip to sort of illustrate what we're doing this year to try and stop all the ploughing that we do. Ploughing's not great for the soil, but we do need it organically to help us deal with some weed issues that we get. So we're trying to sort of go to a more sort of rotational approach to our sort of ploughing strategy. This field has been done with our Gregoire-Besson disc Gordon, which is a disc tines disc press sort of arrangement, and this was some bean stubble, and as you can see it's just come down absolutely beautifully as far as we're concerned, because this actually is going to sit like this until the spring. Now of course it's going to go over winter as bare soil, but you know, if you've seen any of my other videos, we are capable of growing quite a lot of weeds organically, and what's going to happen here is actually a lot of weeds going to chit as well as volunteer beans. And in about 2 or 3 weeks time, if I came back and showed you this field, there'll be a lot of beans growing in there, and weeds actually providing a green cover for the soil. So it's really a self-sown green manure, so it won't be bare by any means over the winter, but what it will give us is already a cultivated base to be able to incorporate those beans and that green residue at a later date. One of our major challenges when stopping or trying to stop to use the plough is breaking 2-year lays. The single year clover lays aren't such a problem, although there is a lot of trash to incorporate. So we do need something that does incorporate that trash within the sort of first few inches of soil, which can then be mineralized to be used as plant food for the next crop we're going to grow. But just going to show you this field here. It's got a nice flower and nectar mix on the corner here, but we've used our discodon twice on this field, so it's gone across it 2 times, and as you can see we've had a fantastic kill of the lay, which is absolutely great. Now if we'd ploughed this, of course it would have buried all that green material, but it would have just put it on the bottom of the plough furrow, whereas incorporating it really sort of puts it into the whole soil profile, which is where we want it, so that it can be used throughout the profile by the next crop. Now of course we've had about 10 days of dry weather when we've been doing this, which has been a massive help to us, but there's no doubt that even though we have lost moisture, we haven't lost as much moisture as we have done with the plough. We're also in a situation when this gets a little bit of rain on it, we're going to make a fantastic seed bed. It's going to be a much more level seed bed because we haven't ploughed it, meaning that, and also the moisture, some moisture will still be there because the crumb is smaller, able to take up more moisture when we get it. And so it's going to be a better plant establishment, which means that the crop is going to be more competitive with weeds, which is obviously a problem for us because we can't use any herbicides. Just flicking you around here, this is we're on Altheton or Lavner Airfield, and there's the control tower in the distance. But anyway, that's I think that's a bit of a result for us this year. It's only 1 year. Just very briefly, the crops that we didn't plough last year, this harvest have out-yielded the crops that we have ploughed. So again, it's only 1 year, but it has given us the courage to just do a little bit more of this on our own farm to see how we fare. So this is the kind of thing we're dealing with. These are the back end of one of our 2-year lays. We had the sheep on it for 2 years. Did have a little cut actually before we came in to try and break it. But this is where we've been experimenting with 1 or 2 machines we've had people bring out to see if we can get away with a lighter machine with a little less horsepower than we have, which is what we really want to aim to do, is to try and get our horsepower down. But I don't think there's anything here that's really as good as the disc Gordon that we've got. And I think that's really because it's got a big set of discs on it rather than these small modern ones that you get on a lot of these machines. And also the other thing is that because of the incorporation the discs do, you can see here there's a huge amount of sort of turves left on the surface, which is exactly what we don't want, because you end up by just pushing these turves around. They've got a lot of roots around them, and they can reset themselves if we have a spell of dry weather. But it's been interesting to see some machines. We've still got some to go, and if we can't find anything better than our Discordon, then we'll probably go down that route again, but buy a slightly narrower one, a 4.4 metre one. The one we've got is a 6 metre one, but with our control traffic at 8.8 metres, a 4.7 metre one would do the job, and then hopefully we'll be able to bring our horsepower down a bit, possibly even get back onto a wheeled tractor around about the sort of 300-350 horsepower mark. But that's the idea. So another challenge for us is incorporating cereal stubbles, and this is stubble after spelt. It's a very tall crop, produces a lot of straw, and here you can see we've cut it with the combine. There's a nice sort of green cover coming up here of a bit of volunteer spelt, some black grass and wild oats, all the usual bits and pieces. So I'm a bit out of breath. A bloody dog just ran off. She's completely deaf, and so the only way to get her back is to run after her and grab her. So I've got to keep a bit of an eye on her. But oh, there we go. Anyway, so this is what it looks like. We've killed a lot of the green cover. This again, same with the beans, is going to lie like this over the winter. It'll green up, but again it'll just give us some kind of, you know, bit of cultivated soil to work with to incorporate anything that comes up in it. Ideally, you know, we don't want to be doing this pre-winter, even though we are going to get a ground cover, but our clay soils just don't allow us to work our soils into a seedbed in the spring. So the best time to do it is now, when it's dry, in good conditions. You get good, you know, the water can drain away. If you do it sort of slightly later on in October, it could be slightly wetter, and then that's when you start smearing the soil and making it more difficult for the water to get away. The Discordon is not a great machine for us in the way that the legs on it are very high disturbance, but then having said that, we do need quite a bit of disturbance to incorporate all this green material. I suppose if we were looking for another machine, our Discordon is, as I say, it's 16 years old. If we're looking for another one, we'd probably look for something with slightly less disturbance legs in it, but we do need to incorporate all this this material. Anyway, so that's what the cereal stubble looks like. I think it's going to look very different in the spring when it comes ready for drilling. Yeah, just while I'm here, again, there's our old control tower. This was an American bomber base, this part of the farm. It was where the 487th was stationed, and there's some of the meeting huts there that we're refurbing at the moment. Going to be turned into offices, and there you've got our blister hanger, and just sits there. It's a sort of an amazing place, this old airfield. You can sort of still feel the presence of what went on before. I've got a great picture, you can get it online actually, of a queue of liberators queuing up down this bit of perimeter track, and you can see our control tower in the distance. Yeah, it's a special place, and we need to keep those memories alive. And my bloody dog's disappeared again. Where have you been? Come on. So I hope that gives you a bit of an idea of what we're trying to do here at Shimpton Park Farm to try and reduce ploughing. We're putting a huge amount of organic matter back into our soils through our organic rotation, through our lays and through green manures. So the tests that we're doing show that organic matter is going upwards rather than downwards. But anyway, stay tuned, and I'll post up some videos later in the year to see how this all works out.